Okay class, let's talk about this one. What can you say something about the pictures? Ngayon ating pagmasdan ang mga larawang ito. Ano ngayon ang inyong mapapansin at nakikita sa larawan na ito? Tama, masasabi natin na meron na position or meron tayong nakikitang object. Meron din tayong nakikitang curved line o shape. Tama, nakakabuo tayo ng hugis. Dahil lahat ng larawang ito ay masasabi nating models of quadratic functions. Ngayon naman, ating pag-usapan kung ano nga ba yung tinatawag nating quadratic function. And now, let's talk about quadratic function. What is quadratic function? It is a second-degree polynomial represented as f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c or y equals ax squared plus bx plus c where a, b, and c are real numbers, where a must not be equal to 0. Kung mapapansin natin, base sa binigay na definition ng ating quadratic function, ang f of x ay parehas lamang sa y. Meaning to say, f of x is equal to y. Parehas lamang pala yun. Parehas silang function. Next, a must not be equal to 0. Ang value ng a ay hindi pwedeng maging 0. Dahil kapag nangyari yon, hindi na magiging quadratic ang ating function. Linear na siya, hindi na siya quadratic. Kasi dapat ang exponent natin ay 2 or the highest degree is 2. The graph of quadratic function is a curved line also called as parabola. Ibig sabihin, ang graph ng ating quadratic function ay curved line na tinatawag din nating parabola. Katulad ng nakita natin kaninang mga larawan, logo ng McDonald's, what else, yung waterfalls, lahat sila ay masasabi nating parabola. And now, let's talk about the properties of quadratic function. Ano ba yung mga properties ng quadratic function? We have number 1, vertex. We have axis of symmetry, opening of the parabola, intercepts, x-intercept and y, and domain and range. Okay, let's start with the first one. We have the vertex. What is the vertex? It is the point h, k as an ordered pair. It is the minimum point of the parabola if a is greater than 0 and the maximum point of the parabola if a is less than 0. Mapapansin natin sa larawan, ito yung tinatawag nating vertex ng ating quadratic function. Meron tayong parabola, ito yung ating vertex. And the second property of quadratic function is axis of symmetry. It is the vertical line denoted as x equals h and also divides the parabola into two equal parts. Ito ang ating tinatawag na axis of symmetry. Sa larawang ito makikita natin kung alin yung vertical line. Ito yon. Yung may hidden line or broken line, ito yon. Ito yung vertical line. Ibig sabihin ito yung axis of symmetry. Denoted as x equals h. Kung ano ang value ng x sa ating ordered pair o kung ano ang value ng h, yun na yung ating axis of symmetry. Ang axis of symmetry ay linya o vertical line na dinivide sa dalawang bahagi ang ating parabola. Na nag-crossover ang ating vertical line sa ating horizontal line. Wherein, ang ating horizontal line ay tinatawag nating x-axis. And the third property of quadratic function is what we call as the opening of the parabola. It is the direction of the graph can be upward or downward. Pwedeng pataas o pwedeng pababa ang position ng ating parabola. Okay, ito ang ating opening of the parabola, upward and downward. And the next property of quadratic function is what we call as we have intercepts. In x-intercept is determined by setting y equals 0 to solve for x. On the other hand, we have y-intercept is determined by setting x equals 0 to solve for y. Ibig sabihin, makukuha natin ang x-intercept kapag ang y ay ginawa nating 0 para makuha natin ang value ng x. Samantalang, makukuha naman natin ang y-intercept kapag nag-substitute tayo at ang ginawa nating value ng x ay 0. Makukuha natin ngayon ang value ng y. And the last property of quadratic function, we have domain and range. The domain of quadratic function is the set of all real numbers in the form of y equals a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. If a is greater than 0, then the range of quadratic function is denoted by is an element of y such that y is greater than or equal to k. If a is less than 0, then the range is denoted by is an element of y such that y less than or equal to k. Kung mapapansin natin na kapag ang a is greater than 0, maaaring ang opening ng parabola natin ay upward. So, ibig sabihin, ito ang ating range kapag ang ating parabola ay upward. Samantalang ito naman ang ating format ng ating range value kapag naman ang ating opening of the parabola ay downward. Now, let's talk about the forms of quadratic function. Meron din tayong tinatawag na forms. Ano ito? We have 4 forms. Number 1, y equals ax squared. Number 2, y equals ax squared plus k. Number 3, y equals a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. Number 4, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Kung mapapansin natin, yung number 3, yun na yung tinatawag nating vertex form. Samantalang ang number 4 naman ay tinatawag nating general form. Yung number 1 naman, we can consider also na siya ay forms of quadratic function. Number 1, y equals ax squared, we can consider also na siya ay form of quadratic function dahil maituturing natin na siya pa rin ay quadratic function kahit wala tayong bx at wala tayong c. Number 2, y equals ax squared plus k. Kung mapapansin natin, meron tayong binomial including the y function, y equals ax squared plus k. Yung number 1, monomial. Number 2, we have binomial. Number 3, vertex form. Number 4, general form. Magbigay tayo ng mga examples. Sa number 1, y equals 2x squared. Yes, that is example. How about the second one? Number 2, meron tayong f of x equals 3x squared plus 2. Yes, that is example of quadratic function also. Next, we have the second one, y equals 2x squared minus 4. Another examples, we have y equals 2 times the quantity of x minus 5 squared plus 7. Y equals 2x, y equals 2 times the quantity of x. Ito naman ay example ng tinatawag nating vertex form. Kaya ito ay part pa rin ng quadratic function. And the last, we have f of x equals 2x squared plus 7x minus 3. Ang ating given naman ay naka-arrange into general form.